Everything was good until Lassiter rode into town.
They made me the gunman, the man in black, Lassiter.
Out here, these people, they're tough. And everyone in our opera is tough.
This form of opera is theater at a grand level. We're not speaking about our emotions, we are singing about our emotions.
She was devout, Million, religion ran
When you
deep
think about the
in her
time period that Zane Grey started writing, the West was
soul.
still the West.
Gave her a place.
The locations cannot be separated from Zane Grey, nor his stories. That's why they're so good.
He defined the West in our minds and in our hearts, not just for Americans, but worldwide. He wrote very evocatively of women as protagonists. He also wrote about Native Americans with an insightful mind, as well as Mormons.
It was the end of the day. I thought, gee, I think I'll read some Zane Grey. So I pulled up 28 titles on Kindle, and there was Riders of the Purple Sage. That one had rhythm and color, and it was sexy. And you know, if you're a composer, you know Riders of the Purple Sage.
And there was something about writers that struck the popular mood of the time. And it just suddenly went into printing after printing after printing, and it just never stopped.
All the tropes that we take for granted from Western movies, those all had to be kind of invented. Zane Grey's the first one to put those components together in a meaningful way, and it's no accident that 112 movies were made from his books.
Resilience, adaptability, universal. Grey locked onto something that's adaptable at any time, to any age, and any medium.
And there will probably be those people who think, a Western for opera, is that appropriate?
Riders of the Purple Sage is the most famous Western written.
A hell of a story, one hell of a story. North of Deception Canyon, there's a valley there, rising like a flame right into the air. I swear.
When you set a drama in front of something like this backs it up and amplifies it. This makes their experience more mythic, more permanent, more meaningful.
One of the key places in the story is what he called Surprise Valley. Zane Grey came into this canyon in 1911 on an expedition, went back home and wrote Riders of the Purple Sage.
Right at the top of the valley is a big rock.
I'm not at all surprised when I'm out here that Grey felt this was a very magical place, a very powerful place. It's a character in his story.
As an artist, as a subject matter, you got to have something that's got, for me anyway, that has a lot of grandeur and a lot of drama to the forms.
How do we show the music and show all of the nuances visually as well? Ed Mel's landscapes just click.
Ed Mel has an incredible palette. It's very diverse. I've seen him mix colors that don't seem right, and he'll put it up to the painting and put it in context, and it literally sings.
Will you look at this place, as beautiful as any place I ever seen, rising right up to the sky.
Working three-dimensionally will be a new adventure for me, and also I'll be working with a lot of other people.
We've got an artist that's world-renowned. His artwork is just awesome and so much fun to play with. The colors are so rich. This look that we've got here, call it a combination of sign painting, pointillism, and impressionist painting all put together. We have to make it look as good for the people in the front row as the people way at the very top.
You can look at the Metropolitan Opera and Chagall and say the visual arts and the operatic arts are linked. With this piece and our partnership with Ed Mell, I think we're taking a very bold step forward because Ed's work has never been featured theatrically before.
To me, the opera is playing with it's a new element and on such a grand scale.
Our leading lady's faith is fantastic, and it never wavers, and it remains to be the bulwark of this piece. And it's extremely current because it pits a kind of fundamentalism against a real, true, loving, healing faith.
It's so rewarding to be part of a new work, but it's also feels like a great responsibility because you want so desperately to get it right.
It's very gratifying to see singer actors bring something to the piece that you didn't know was there. You're like, whoa, that's more tender than I thought, or that lands bigger than I thought it would. This is the beauty of it because everyone brings something to it. It is a huge collaboration.
One time there was a rhythmic shift. It was a transition where it came from fast music to slow music, but I didn't quite understand the math between it. And Craig's just right there to answer the question.
You know, I wish I could do this with all the greats like Beethoven, Mozart, Mahler, Wagner, name it, you know, Puccini.
There are so many different elements. We have the lighting, we have the scenic artists, we have the actual singers themselves, we have all the visual aspects, we have all of the musical forces. My role as a director is to bring all of the different components together in a way that can tell the story from one point of view.
There's so much collaboration on every level that I think it's pretty amazing that an opera is actually ever gets made.
There's a saying in the theater, it goes, what makes today different than any other day? Today was different because Lasseter rode into town and asked some questions. And people could no longer be the same.
And I will never see this hardened land again.